Welcome to my Genshin Impact series on builds. Today we're going to be talking about Qiqi, whatever her name is, and we're going to be talking about talents, constellation, equipment, and how to build her so that you can optimize your gameplay. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and start with her talents. So looking at Herald of Frost, this is her E ability. When she hits a target with her normal or charge attack, she regenerates HP for all party members and nearby allied characters. Healing scales based on her attack, regenerates HP for current character at regular intervals, and it causes cryo damage. Looking at her Q ability, Preserver of Fortune, Qiqi releases the Adeptus power sealed within her body, marking nearby enemies and creating a talisman on them with cryo damage. When enemies affected by this talisman take damage, the character that dealt this damage regenerates HP. Life prolonging methods. When a character under the effects of Herald of Frost triggers an elemental reaction, their incoming healing bonus is increased by 20% for 8 seconds. A glimpse into Arcanum. When she hits an enemy with her normal or charge attack, she has a 50% chance to apply her Q ability talisman to the enemy for 6 seconds. This effect has a cooldown of 30 seconds. And then we have Former Life Memories, which she displays map resources for Liu on the mini-map. Alright, now let's talk about Qiqi's Constellation. The first one we have is Ascetics of Frost. So when her E ability spins and hits an enemy that is already marked by her Q ability, Qiqi is going to regenerate 2 energy. Frozen to the Bone is going to increase Qiqi's normal and charged attack damage against enemies with cryo affected by 15%. Then we have Divine Suppression, which targets marked by her Q ability, Fortune Preserving Talisman. They're going to have their attack decrease by 20%. This is really good on bosses and hard difficulty content. And then we have Rites of Resurrection. So when you use your Q ability, it's going to revive all nearby fallen characters and regenerates 50% of their HP. This effect can only occur once every 50 minutes. This is absolutely insane. All right, now let's go ahead and talk about the weapons for Qiqi, and we'll start with some free-to-play options. You have the Skyrider Sword. This would be the 3-star option I would recommend for people to use. It has energy recharge, and using an elemental burst grants a 24% increase to attack and movement speed for 15 seconds. So that's going to increase her heals as well. You have Prototype Raincore. I think the game walks you through this in the tutorial. You can stack a 4% increase to your attack and defense over 6 seconds up to 4 times through normal attacking. It's a 16% increase at maximum at the base rate of this weapon. And then an option where if you get lucky on rolls and you get a 4-star weapon that is besides those, you can go ahead and get the Flute. The Flute is amazing. Normal and charge attacks grant a harmonic on hits. Gaining 5 harmonics triggers the power of music and deals 100% attack damage to surrounding enemies. They last up to 30 seconds, so you have up to 30 seconds to gain 5 of them, and a maximum of 1 can be gained every 0.5 seconds. So that means it's going to take 2.5 seconds for you to gain 5 harmonics to trigger that 100% of attack damage to surrounding enemies. So it's kind of like an AoE every few seconds that you're utilizing this. So this is a really good build, and a lot of people recommend this. Sacrificial Sword is the one I personally use because I didn't have the Flute until later on. This one comes with energy recharge, and after damaging an opponent with the elemental skill, the skill has a 70% chance to end its own cooldown. This can occur every 19 seconds. Now keep in mind this is rank 4, so I have refined it a few times, but at rank 1 I think it has a 50% chance and a 23-second cooldown. This is a really good option for her because her ability lasts a pretty long time and you can use it, and then I usually would keep her out until it would proc the refresh or the cooldown, and then I would switch her out for a different character, and that would also give me some more time to wait for this ability to cool down. And then we have Aquila Favonia, and this is the weapon that if you are extremely lucky and you get this, it's definitely not needed, but it is what I ended up getting. So the attack is increased by 25%, triggers on taking damage. This ability that essentially will regenerate HP equal to 115% of her attack and dealing 230% of attack as an AoE damage to surrounding enemies, and it has a cooldown of 15 seconds. So this would be kind of the end-game build currently until they release some new weapons, of course, but this also has a physical damage bonus. So the only thing I would say to this is that this percentage damage increase isn't going to improve her heals. This would be purely for damage. Now let's go ahead and talk about the artifacts. Because Qiqi is a healer, the Maiden Beloved set comes to mind. You have a 2-piece set, character healing effectiveness plus 15%, and then the 4-piece set, using an elemental skill or burst, increases healing received by all party members by 20% for 10 seconds. Now, if you feel like your heals are doing really well and you want to try out more of an attack build, I'd recommend checking out the Gladiator's Finale. This gives you a 2-piece set bonus for attack plus 18%, and then a 4-piece bonus for if she's using a sword, which she does, it increases their normal attack damage by 35%. So this would be more for the damage side. Now, if you're looking for the main stat in these items, I would recommend going for attack percentage first and then healing effectiveness. Each artifact has its own set of stats that it can roll with, so just be mindful of that. And if you need a guide, I'll actually link it in the description so you guys can take a look at what that looks like. Also, if you are early game and you don't really have any sets or anything like that, it's okay to build a broken set around her. I would say still focus on the substats for attack percentage early on because you're not going to have to worry too much about dying, and her heals by themselves are going to be plenty enough. So just keep in mind that attack percentage and healing effectiveness are probably going to be the primary ones. Now let's go ahead and talk about some team comps that Qiqi can fit into really well. Since she's a cryo unit, she's really pivotal in being able to cause Superconduct, and since she's a supporting role, it makes it really easy to put her into a lot of different parties. I'm going to go ahead and show you 4 different comp lineups that you can use. Some of them free to play and others you would have had to roll for these characters to get RNG. Fischl's a somewhat pay to play, free to play just because she was in the previous banner as a 4-star character. And then Venti obviously is an Animo character. You can switch him out with any Animo, whether that's the Traveler or Sucrose if you are getting Sucrose this time around. First team comp, you would use Zhongling as your DPS unit. You'd have Fischl as a support, Venti as a support, and then Qiqi as a healer. Second one is Razor. He's somewhat free to play because he is in the Masterless Star Glitter shop. Qiqi would be the healer, and then Zhongling and Venti as the support. So you would have the ability to proc Overload as well as Superconductor depending on the way that you want to run this. Then we have a double Electro team with Qiqi as the healer and Venti as the Animo character. And then we have a double cryo team. And this is one that I really wish I could build. I just don't have the resources for right now, but it's a lot of fun. So if you have Chongyun, he's actually an amazing unit to pair these two up with. So, and then Zhongling is actually a replaceable unit in this comp. So you could put in Fischl in that lineup and it would work just as well. All right, so we talked about talents, Constellation, weapon builds, artifact builds, and a team comp that Qiqi can fit into. Qiqi is an amazing DPS unit that anyone is lucky to pick up. There's a reason players rerolled for her. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below about Qiqi. Give this video a thumbs up if you found it useful, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more builds, tips, and tricks on Genshin Impact. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.